Alright, we're live.
All right, we're live. Guys, hey, Facebook world. It is our 2 o'clock Wednesday Facebook Live. What is today? June something, 19, June 19th. So, we're going to continue doing what we've done here for the last few weeks. Going live, answering any questions that you might have. Last week, we had a question from John Sutter asking if he could get Walker Pest Management koozies. That was not the question we were looking for necessarily, but I suppose nothing's off limits. So anyway, we're going to answer some questions again here this week. I've got several questions that the customers have written us or asked us over the past few years. Before we get to that, though, I did want to just say thank you to everyone out there for your donations for the Miracle Hill Ministries. It's a fantastic ministry here locally in South Carolina. Their home base is here in Greenville specifically. Our customers and employees, friends and family all were able to donate about $3,500, and then Walker Pest Management gave a matching donation of another $3,500. So it's been about $7,000 that we were able to give to Miracle Hill Ministries for this fundraiser, which is fantastic. They help a lot of homeless people through food, through clothing, through shelters that they sponsor these folks in, as well as battered or abused women through Shepherd's Gate Ministries and other ministries. So if you don't know a lot about Miracle Hill, check them out. They've been around for a long time, since the 1940s, I believe, and they've just done a fantastic ministry, a fantastic work here in the upstate. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who was able to donate to that through our Facebook page and through the donation page that we have set up for them in that. So we're going to continue to support them and some of the other local ministry or local charities and ministries here in our area. I'm going to jump right in. We'll spend, like I say, usually about 15 minutes just talking, trying to answer some of the questions that you guys have asked over time. Please, by all means, shoot us a quick message or comment. If you have any other questions as I'm talking, we'll try to get to those. But we'll probably cut off about 2:15 here this afternoon. So I'm going to jump in with the next question on my list from last time. The question is, I've only seen 1 or 2 insects inside. Do I still need service? It's a pretty common question, and the answer to a lot of these questions, as always, is going to be it depends. So it depends on what kind of insect that is. So that's the first step in really any pest management strategy, is going to be identification. Correct identification is key in putting together a strategy. So that's the first question we should ask is, what have you seen? Sometimes you may know the answer to that, and sometimes it's a little more tricky, because if it's just a general question like, well, I saw a cockroach, well, then the next question would be, well, what kind of cockroach was that? So one of the easy things that you can do is you can take a picture of that. Obviously, the higher the resolution, the better. The more clear, the more close up that image is, the better job we can do giving you some kind of identification. You can send that through the website. You can email that to us. There's a lot of different ways. I believe, Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, but they can text that also to our main number as well.
Yep, our main number, 864-603.
1404.
Okay.
And yeah, 864-603.
Or through Facebook, they can message it.
Through Facebook, message it. You know, lots of different ways to send that to us. We'll take a look at it. Josh has actually become really good at identifying a lot of insects. He actually showed me a snake the other day that a customer sent us asking what kind it was. It wasn't a poisonous snake, we know that, but it was just a very unusual coloration and marking on that snake, and I wasn't sure, and so Josh spent a good bit of time yesterday looking that up. So send us those pictures, and we'll do our best to try to help you identify exactly what it is. and then we can answer that question a little bit better. So, you know, do you need service if you see one housefly or two houseflies in your house? Probably not. You probably just need a good fly swatter, or keep the doors closed a little bit better, yell at the kids, tell them, you know, they're not raised in a barn, and, you know, all those good parenting things that we typically say. But if I see a few fruit flies, then maybe I'm going to take some further action, and I'm going to make sure that all my fruits and vegetables are put in some sort of sealed containers, including the refrigerator. I'm going to wash all of those things as soon as I bring them home from the grocery store, just to try to prevent any fruit fly eggs or larvae that could possibly be on those fruits and vegetables, on that produce. Try to get rid of those as quickly as I can, making sure that I'm emptying my trash cans on a regular basis, making sure that when I empty those trash cans, I'm checking underneath the plastic bag and that is clean and sanitized, and so on and so forth. You know, if your trash can is one of those slide out trash cans like built into the kitchen cabinets, you might be looking back in that cavity where they slide in and out from, and make sure there's not a lot of organic buildup, you know, drippings and things like that, where, you know, the kids are throwing away their Kool-Aid or their Capri Sun or something, and it's splashing out and getting down on the floor and creating some sort of sticky or sludgy residue and buildup where they can live and breed and be attracted to, and so on and so forth. So again, I'm giving you a very long answer to the question, as always, but it depends on what kind of insect it is, because a lot of these insects, just like we keep talking about flies, it might be more of a sanitation issue and tracking down where the source of that is coming from. Garbage disposals in your kitchen sink can be a really good source of a lot of organic gunk and buildup, and so it might be something where you're doing something to clean that out. Sometimes people will use a bleach or something like that to pour down in there and turn it on to get that all around in there, which does help clean and sanitize, and can actually kill any eggs and larvae and things like that could possibly be down in that garbage disposal. Now, that list goes on and on, so it depends what type of flying insect it is as to what sanitation measures we're going to take. But a lot of flies, and then Indian meal moths, stored product pests, we can talk about those as well at some point, maybe not right now, but that would be a different sanitation measure that you're taking. But going back to the example that we talked about with cockroaches, if you send us a picture of the cockroach and it looks like it is a smoky brown cockroach or an American cockroach, both of these cockroaches more often than not tend to live outdoors and make their ways inside the house, kind of more as occasional invaders. They don't typically infest homes, although they can. And so if you're only seeing one or two, then, you know, maybe my next question would be, how often are you seeing one or two? Because if you're seeing one or two every single day, yeah, maybe you need a service to come in and treat that house and inspect the attic, inspect the crawl space areas. The attic often gets overlooked by pest control companies. It's something that we have to remind our technicians to take a look at. But you can have the smoky brown cockroach that will often come off of your big mature trees and in through the roof line and into that attic space, and then make their way down into the house. Whereas the American cockroach typically, and never say never, never say always, because they can both be found in both environments, but the American cockroach tends to like more moist and damp conditions, and we'll see those coming through the foundation, through a crawl space, maybe even through drain lines and things like that, and coming up into the house or the business. Often restaurants can deal with American cockroaches, smoky brown cockroaches as well, coming through sewer lines and coming up through floor drains and things like that into their business, especially if it's a much older building and older establishment. You can have cracked plumbing and things like that underground where those roaches are able to make their way in. So my next question would be, how often are you seeing those types of roaches, if it's a smoky brown or an American cockroach? We do have some oriental cockroaches in the upstate. Those aren't super common, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about those. Same way with brown banded cockroaches. Brown banded cockroaches, we're going to see those, you know, more in Columbia, and then even getting further to the coast. We don't have a whole lot of those in the upstate. So again, never say never. You could possibly have a brown banded cockroach infestation. And so brown banded, I would say you would definitely want a pest control company doing service, but the most common one is going to be German cockroaches. German cockroaches can be identified with the adults in particular. The adults are the easiest ones to identify because they have two pretty clear, we call them racing stripes, going down the back of, it's the pronotum, but you know, if you're looking at this as just a common, everyday, I don't do pest control kind of guy, then you know, it's like on the back of their head. So technically it's not their head, it's the pronotum. But I don't want to confuse people too much. I just want to kind of keep it in simple terms there again. So you entomologists that are out there and listening to this, don't bust my chops over calling the pronotum the back of their head. I know the difference. I'm just trying to give people an idea of what to look for. So with those German cockroaches, we still find that a baiting program is very effective, and there are arguments to be made for a lot of other products that are available out there that have a really fantastic effect on German cockroaches. I'm not arguing with that. I know that there are other products available. We just tend to continue to use the baits as a really good tool in our tool bag to get those under control. You can buy baits through different resources out there online. You can get all kinds of things online. You're not supposed to, according to South Carolina regulation, but you can. The problem is, this is what we always come back to, is we don't get paid because we have some super strong pesticide out there. In fact, you can go to Lowe's and Home Depot and get the same active ingredients that we use in the majority of our pesticides. What you are paying us for is, hopefully, even through this whole lengthy conversation of me answering one question, but there's so many facets to that one question. Hopefully the average person can realize and understand what we're really getting paid for is the knowledge to know what to use, when to use it, where to use it, what type of insect it should be used on, when not to use it, where not to apply it, where it's not going to be effective, etc., etc., etc. So we go through tons of training and tons of education to get to that point. So, yes?
Not just where effective, but where it may not be dangerous for other people or pets and stuff.
Yeah,
too,
exactly. So Josh is right. And so that's kind of the insinuation when I am saying where not to apply it and not to use it. We don't want that to be dangerous to people, to pets, to children, obviously, and things like that just wouldn't know better. Because there are stories all the time in the news of somebody getting their hands on a pesticide, misusing it, like total release foggers, and they're setting these things off to try to get rid of cockroaches, but they've got children in the house and babies in the crib, and they just leave them there while they're dispersing these total release foggers, and that's just that's a horrible mistake, and I can't even imagine someone not having a little more sense about them. So if you do use products yourself, please make sure you always read the label and follow those label instructions. Don't just pop the can open and throw it in like a grenade and think that that's going to solve your problems. It won't. So there's a very long answer to the question. I still don't feel like I necessarily answered the question completely, but if you've only seen one or two insects, do you need our services? Not necessarily. But maybe snap a picture of what that insect is, send it to us, let us identify it, and then we can walk you through some options. And a lot of those options may be, in fact, just some cleaning or some further inspection to figure out where the source is, and you can take care of that on your own without getting us involved. So we're happy to do that. We're happy to be a resource to you guys, just out there as our community and our followers. Anything else that we can do to help, obviously we're happy to do that. So I think we are out of time at this point. Come back next week. As far as I know, I think I'm going to be here next Wednesday at 2. And we'll answer some more questions. If you have some questions in the meantime, you can always send those in. You can send those through Facebook. You can send those through our website, through email. And then you can also just join us live next week at 2 o'clock and send your questions live, and I will do the best I can to answer those on the spot. So, guys, have a great week. We'll see you guys later on.
Thanks.